contains all the necessary genetic information to create a new plant, and more important, it is designed to start growing only when the surrounding conditions are perfect. For example, the seed of a plant growing in a temperate area will wait until the cold winter passes before growing. When spring arrives, the seed responds to environmental 5 triggers such as water intake, rising air temperature, humidity levels, and amount of sunlight. Some seeds are programmed in such a way that they will not grow until they've passed through a period of cold weather. A germinating seed will first display tiny leaves, called cotyledons. Plants are either monocotyledons, 10 producing just a single leaf, or dicotyledons, producing 2 leaves. These tiny leaves quickly grow into a mature leaf system, which then begins gathering energy for the young plant. Plants gather the light of the sun and transform it into energy in a process called photosynthesis. This process allows the plant to produce glucose, which the plant then uses to both further its growth and to produce cellulose and starch, 2 compounds essential to a plant. Cellulose is a strong, fibrous material that 15 gives shape and structure to the cell walls. Starch is stored in the cells and used for energy. Beneath the surface, the plant's root system grows and provides not only an anchor for the plant but a constant supply of food as well. Some plants possess what is called a taproot system, in which there is one main root. Others have a more dispersed root system, which lacks a main root. 20 in either case, the roots of the plant are covered with microscopic hairs, which spread into the surrounding soil. These hairs greatly increase the surface area of the root system and allow the plant to absorb water and essential nutrients from the soil. Water drawn in through the roots undergoes a process called transpiration. During this process, 25 minerals are carried up to the leaves of the plant, while oxygen and water vapor escape through tiny pores, called stomata, on the surface of the leaves. Interestingly, the movement of water through the plant is also responsible for keeping the plant upright. A plant that lacks water will wilt and may die. Too much water may also harm the plant by saturating the soil and preventing the roots from absorbing oxygen. 30 Once a plant reaches full maturity, its energy is devoted to reproduction. The plant forms flowers and fruits, the structures essential to reproduction. The flowers of a plant are typically hermaphrodites, meaning that they contain both male and female reproductive organs. Thus, many plants are able to fertilize themselves. The flowers of some plants are unisexual, being all male 35 or all female. These plants require another plant for fertilization. Some plants are polygamous, meaning they have both hermaphrodite and unisexual flowers. Fruits are created from the ovaries of flowering plants. The main purpose of the fruit is to protect the seed, but many fruits aid in the seed's dispersal as well. For example, a soft, fleshy fruit attracts animals, which eat the fruit and thus spread the seeds. Or a pod or capsule will split open and scatter its seeds. Some of the seeds 40 distributed in this manner will take hold in favorable soil, and the entire process begins anew. 38 Cracking the TOEFL IBT Paragraph 1. Paragraph 2. Paragraph 3. Paragraph 4. Paragraph 5. Last sentence. Did you find any direction markers? List them. Main idea. Passage B. The business practices of the Intel Corporation, a technology company best known for the production of microprocessors for computers, illustrate the importance of brand marketing. Intel was able to achieve a more than 1,500% increase in sales, moving from $1.2 billion in sales to more than $33 billion in a little more than 10 years. Although the explosion of the home computer 5 market certainly accounted for some of this dramatic increase, the brilliance of its branding strategy also played a significant role. Intel became a major producer of microprocessor chips in 1978, when its 8086 chip was selected by IBM for use in its line of home computers. The 8086 chip and its successors soon became the 10 industry standard, even as Intel's competitors sought to break into this potentially lucrative market. Intel's main problem in facing its competitors was its lack of trademark protection for its series of microchips. Competitors were able to exploit this lack by introducing clone products with similar sounding names, severely inhibiting Intel's ability to create a brand identity. 15 In an effort to save its market share, Intel embarked on an ambitious branding program in 1991. The corporation's decision to invest more than $100 million in this program was greeted with skepticism and controversy. Many within the company argued that the money could be better spent researching and developing new products, while others argued that a company that operated within such a narrow consumer niche had little need for such an aggressive branding campaign. Despite 20 of these misgivings, Intel went ahead with its strategy, which in a short time became a resounding success. One of the keys to the success of Intel's new branding initiative was its close partnership with computer manufacturers. Intel involved the manufacturers in its plan by first offering them a rebate 25 on the purchase of an Intel microprocessor. The money saved on the purchase of microprocessors was redirected into advertising, with Intel offering to pay fully half of manufacturers' advertising costs, provided their computers prominently featured the Intel brand logo. In an even more effective 2. Core concept. Reading 39 strategy, Intel also required computer manufacturers to produce products using competitors' chips. These products noticeably lacked the prominent Intel logo, which had a negative effect on 30 consumers, who had come to expect to see Intel's brand on the computer. Intel's successful branding campaign led to two important developments. The first was Intel's positioning of itself as the leader in microprocessors, recognized for creating products that were both reliable and ubiquitous, appearing in many different computer brands. This occurred despite the public's general lack of understanding of exactly what a microprocessor was or how Intel's processor was better than its competitors' chips. Second, Intel's campaign led to a boom in computer advertising. Prior to Intel's branding initiative, many advertisers avoided the computer industry, which generally spent far more of its money on research and development. But the success of Intel's branding program led to a new and eminently profitable relationship between 40 computer manufacturers and advertisers. Ironically, the success of Intel's branding strategy led to a marketing dilemma for the company. In 1992, Intel was prepared to unveil its new line of microprocessors. However, the company faced a difficult decision: release the new product under the current brand logo and risk consumer apathy 45, or give the product a new name and brand and risk undoing all the work put into the branding strategy. In the end, Intel decided to move forward with a new brand identity. It was a testament to the strength of Intel's earlier branding efforts that the new product line was seamlessly integrated into the public consciousness. Paragraph 1. Paragraph 2. Paragraph 3. Paragraph 4. Paragraph 5. Paragraph 6. Last sentence. Did you find any direction markers? List them. Main idea. 40. Cracking the TOEFL IBT Passage C. On December 18, 1912, an amateur geologist named Charles Dawson and paleontologist Arthur Smith Woodward presented a stunning finding to the Geological Society of London. 1 year earlier, Dawson had found a piece of a human cranium in a gravel pit near Piltdown Common, Sussex. Further searching by Dawson uncovered remnants of what appeared to be flint tools and the 5 remains of prehistoric animals. Excited by his discovery, Dawson took the fossils to Woodward at the British Museum, and the two men returned to the gravel pit for a systematic excavation. In the summer of 1912, Dawson and Woodward made the discoveries that would later shock the assembled scientists at the Geological Society. Among the animal bones and primitive tools, the 2 men found another skull and an almost entirely intact jawbone. The geologic and biologic evidence dated the site to the Pleistocene era, and the bones were clearly of a creature that resembled no other known at that time. Although the skull resembled those of other finds, including the famous ape men of Java, the jaw appeared to come from some type of heretofore unknown species of ape. Startlingly, however, the teeth were worn down in a human fashion. 15. Dawson and Woodward's announcement of the so-called missing link between man and apes, which they called Piltdown Man, set off an immediate firestorm. Across the Atlantic, the New York Times reported the story with the dramatic headline, "Paleolithic Skull is a Missing Link." The ensuing controversy over human origins eventually led the Times to publish an editorial that cautioned 20 readers from seeing Piltdown Man as the missing link. Instead, the editors advised readers to see Piltdown Man as a link to man's prehistoric past, but not necessarily proof of evolution. Similar editorials sprang up across the United States, and the American public was divided over the issue of human origins. Although no fossil could conclusively prove evolution, scientists had 25 amassed a huge collection of fossils in the early 20th century. These fossils seemed to indicate a pattern of evolution and demanded attention. In the United States during the 1920s, a movement sprang up to counter the theory of evolution. This movement culminated in one of the most famous trials in history, the Scopes monkey trial. 30. John T. Scopes was a biology teacher in a Tennessee school. The textbook he used in his class contained a chapter on evolution and natural selection, a violation of Tennessee law. Scopes was brought to trial for the offense, and the ensuing confrontation riveted the American public. Scopes was defended by Clarence Darrow, a noted lawyer, and William Jennings Bryan, a former Secretary of State, worked for the prosecution.